think it's more. I think even think it's easier. The striking on the feet. I think it's easier than Bilal because he'll stay in one stance. He's more traditional style.
Della Maddalena is bigger. He showed that he can stop takedowns. On the feet, there's absolutely no question. Jack Della Maddalena is on another level. He's probably got the best, cleanest boxing in the UFC. It wouldn't surprise me if we see an upset here and Jack Della Maddalena is still the champion at the end of the day.
Jack Della Maddalena is set to defend his belt against Islam Makhachev at UFC 322. What surprised everyone is Jack's claim that Bilal Muhammad's striking is tougher to deal with than Islam, and that he'll handle Islam without much trouble. In a recent interview, Jack explained that Islam's striking is easier to adjust to because Islam usually stays in one stance and uses a more traditional style, which makes him predictable. Still, Jack gave Islam full credit, calling him the pound-for-pound #1, and admitting this will be a very tough fight. He added that the team's plan is to carefully study Islam's past fights, build a strong strategy, and prepare accordingly.
I mean, it's just, I think Islam Makhachev is a better version of Bilal. I think his striking on the feet is, I think even think it's easier. The striking on the feet, I think it's easier than Bilal because he'll stay in one stance. He's more traditional style. But yeah, he's the pound for pound #1. So it's a tough fight. But I guess we'll just watch all his fights again, make a solid game plan, and then just start working at it. From pretty much now, I'm going to start working on ways to beat him, different ways to get back to my feet, stuff in the takedown, but I'm pretty confident I can get this one done.
Islam's coach, Javier Mendez, didn't take Jack's comments lightly. He warned Jack not to underestimate Islam's striking. Mendez said that if Jack thinks it's going to be easy, he'll be in for a rude awakening once the fight begins. He stressed that nobody has an easy time with Islam inside the cage. What looks simple from the outside feels completely different once you're in there with him.
That Islam brings with his striking?
If he's saying that, I hope that he goes in believing that, because when he gets in there with Islam, you're going to find out a whole different story because I'm sorry, they're completely different. And by no means is Islam an easy for anybody to understand. Any MMA fighter that's a striker, that's not going to have an easy time with him. I've been with this kid like going on 11 years of watching him just destroy everybody on the stand-up, guys that are much better stand-up than him, and he still destroys them. So no, don't go by what you see. When you get in there with that man, it's a whole different ball.
Meanwhile, Jack's coach, Ben Vickers, showed strong confidence heading into UFC 322. He stated that Islam won't be able to withstand Jack's power. According to Vickers, unlike Bilal Muhammad, Islam doesn't have the same durability. If Jack lands clean, the fight could end instantly, whether in the first minute or in the later rounds. He added that Jack's mix of cardio and knockout power makes him a dangerous threat at any point in the fight.
Where this is going to be an eventual down the line, like third, fourth round? Or do you think people might even be shocked to see it happen earlier on?
We know for a fact if Jack clips someone clean on the chin, they can go over. So it could happen in the first minute. It could happen in the 24th minute. It could happen in the 24 minute, 59 seconds. It could happen 3 rounds in. Jack likes long fights. He likes to be in there. But obviously we're not getting paid for overtime. So if the opportunity arises, we're happy to take it. But Jack's cardio, as we saw, Bilal's reputedly the best cardio in the UFC, and Jack out cardioed him. Bilal was more tired than Jack towards the end of the fight. So Jack's cardio is exceptional, his power is exceptional, and yeah, I like the fight. I really do.
Ben Vickers also explained that he doesn't expect Islam to fight carelessly. Islam is too composed and too skilled for that. Still, he believes Islam will try to close the distance early and push Jack into the grappling game, even just to wear him out. Vickers pointed out that staying on the feet for too long leaves Islam exposed to Jack's power, just like Bilal Muhammad experienced. That's why he feels Islam will want to avoid long striking exchanges and bring the fight into his own world as soon as possible.
His wrestling, getting JDM up against the fence, or do you think he goes out there and actually tries to test his striking against you guys?
No, I don't think he's going to go out and try and test his striking, but I also don't think he's going to rush. He's a very composed guy. He's a very high level, skillful person. He's not going to rush and be running at Jack's hips. But he is going to try and get hold of Jack as quickly as possible, even if it's just to try and tire him out in the early parts of the fight and get him into his world quickly. He will take damage from Jack as Bilal did if he's on the feet. So I'm sure he's going to not want to be there
Vickers added that Khabib Nurmagomedov often pushes Islam to wrestle more aggressively, so he expects to see that influence here. He believes Islam will look for takedowns early, though not in a reckless way. According to Vickers, Islam's.com approach and striking ability give him the confidence to stand when needed, but the main plan will still be to drag Jack Della Maddalena to the canvas. He described Islam as calm and calculated, never rushing, but always working to secure his grappling advantage for as long as possible.
And we've all heard Khabib in the corner really like chastising Islam when he doesn't go for the takedown. So I definitely think that there's going to be a lot of input from Khabib in trying to get Islam to shoot the takedown often and early, but there's going to be no rush and no panic. I mean, this guy's cool, calm, collected, and composed, and he's a phenomenal fighter. So I think he's definitely going to go for takedowns early, but I don't think he's going to like charge in and try and get the hips at all costs. He backs himself on the feet. He's a decent striker, you know. So, but I do think his game plan is to put Jack on the ground.
On the other side, Michael Bisping believes it wouldn't be shocking if Jack pulls off the upset at UFC 322. He pointed out that Jack is the bigger fighter, has already proven he can defend take and brings some of the sharpest boxing in the UFC. Bisping said Jack is performing at another level right now and definitely has a real chance to walk out as champion.
Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena, that has been announced, but I'll tell you what, Jack Della Maddalena is bigger. He showed that he can stop takedowns. On the feet, there's absolutely no question. Jack Della Maddalena is on another level. He's probably got the best, cleanest boxing in the UFC. It wouldn't surprise me if we see an upset here and Jack Della Maddalena is still the champion at the end of the day.
Michael Bisping also admitted he was surprised by how heavily the odds favor Islam Makhachev over Jack Della Maddalena. He feels the betting lines are disrespectful, especially considering Jack's 18-fight winning streak and his recent victory over Belal Muhammad, where he defended every tick. Bisping warned that if Islam chooses to stand with Jack, it could be a mistake, since Jack's boxing and footwork give him a very real chance to win.
Interesting fight, because the crazy thing is that Islam Makhachev is quite a sizable favorite according to DraftKings, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure I saw that online earlier this morning. And I think that's a little bit disrespectful to Jack Della Maddalena. The man's on an 18-fight winning streak. He just beat Belal Muhammad. He defended all the takedowns there. He's beaten grapplers before in the past. Yes, Islam Makhachev is incredible, you know, and he'd be another contender for pound #1, greatest of all time, whatever you want to call it. But Belal Muhammad was a perfect warm-up fight for Islam Makhachev. And with the boxing of Jack, if Islam was to stand with him, that'd be a bad idea. With Jack's boxing and the footwork that is associated with boxing, that's going to help him. That's going to be very advantageous. He knows how to defend the takedown.
Colby Covington, however, sees things differently. He predicts Islam Makhachev will defeat Jack. Covington acknowledged that Islam might be the smaller man since he's moving up from lightweight, but emphasized that his Azo-round skill set makes him extremely dangerous. He believes that if Islam gets the takedown and maintains control, that's the clearest path to victory. Covington also mentioned the size difference is interesting, but still sides with Islam as the betting favorite.
Islam versus JDM. What do you make of that? Islam moving up to now welterweight.
Yeah, it's an interesting fight. I'm excited to see how it goes. You know, Islam, you know, is a lightweight. He's going to be a little smaller in the fight, but he's a well-rounded fighter. So, you know, if he's able to take down JDM and control him, you know, he could definitely get the job done. But it's going to be interesting to see how the size advantage plays a difference in the fight.
Who do you favor?
I mean, I seen the odds were pretty big. They favored Makhachev like 3-1. So I guess I got to go with the odds if they're going 3-1. But just because JDM doesn't have good takedown defense, but you never know. It's a fight, and JDM has some good hands, so it should be an exciting fight for the fans.
Robert Whitaker shared that he was surprised by Islam Makhachev's decision to give up the lightweight title. He explained that while fighters sometimes follow trends, this situation feels different because Islam is one of the UFC's biggest stars. Whitaker feels the UFC would want Islam to keep the belt as long as possible, which makes the decision even more surprising.
What I think was unexpected was the relinquishing of the lightweight title.
They don't want to do it anymore. No one can be double champ technically anymore.
I expected it in a sense that because Topuria did it, people would have to follow suit. But Islam's kind of like the poster boy right now for the UFC in terms of like mega star sort of things, right? Yeah, I didn't see them doing that, but I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong, because I think double champs is really stall the division. You know what I mean? So I'm happy the lightweight division can move on again.
Whitaker also broke down the matchup and actually gave the edge to Jack Della Maddalena. He believes Jack's grit and toughness will help him handle Islam's wrestling pressure. He pointed out that Jack's striking could be the deciding factor if the fight stays standing, and suggested Islam might be cautious about constant takedown attempts, knowing Jack is still dangerous even off his back.
I'm going to go Jack. I think Jack has that X factor. I think he has the gut, the grit, the determination to fight the takedowns, to fight the ground, the takedown attacks that Islam is going to go for. And I think in a striking fight, straight up, Jack is better. I think he wins in the hands. Yeah. I think Jack's got the better game to strike over 5 rounds than Islam does as well, especially if Islam is trying to go for takedowns during the fight. Yeah. I think, and people sleep on Jack's grappling game. They sleep on his jiu-jitsu. I don't think Islam is going to be as gun-ho with the takedowns as everybody believes, because Jack has that level of offense off his back.
Finally, Whitaker predicted that Islam will rely heavily on his kicks, just like he did effectively against Alexander Volkanovski. He noted that Jack has struggled to defend kicks in the past, which could leave him vulnerable if Islam uses that weapon often. Whitaker added that once Islam slows Jack down with kicks, he can then mix in takedowns to take over the fight. So, that's all for today's breakdown. What do you think about this massive matchup between JDM and Islam at UFC 3? Drop your predictions in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and check out our other videos for more exciting fight coverage.